This is Laura with FP Movement. Hi, come on in. Welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm Laura from Fallen Feather Yoga. It's so great to be here with you. We are going to be going through about a 45-minute vinyasa flow today. So you shouldn't need any equipment at all. Just yourself, some good space, a mat, and your breath. Make sure you have some water, and we'll get started. Let's hit some music. So I'll meet you all on the mat. We're going to begin in a child's pose today. So we're going to bring our toes to touch at the back of the mat. We're going to sink the hips down onto the heels. And then we're going to gently crawl the fingertips out long onto the mat. Begin to rest the forehead down. Let the fingertips spread nice and wide. The arms are strong here. So firm up those biceps. Let the chest come closer to the mat. Begin to come into the breath. Beginning to feel into the corners of your body and your space. As the hips begin to open, see if you can send a little bit more breath down into that space. Taking some nice big deep breaths in and out. So we'll collectively bring our breath together. So wherever you are in your breath right now, just exhale everything out with a big sigh. Let everything go. From here, begin to feel the lips. Breathe in through the nose. Feel the belly begin to rise. Feel the back of the body expand. Send the breath into the rib cage. Feel every rib expand and open. Inhale, biggest breath in today. With a big sigh out, let that breath go. Open the mouth. We've got one more, just like that. Seal the lips. Inhale deep through the nose. Feel the belly begin to rise. Feel the back of the body expand. Feel that breath actively extending from the crown of the head all the way down to the base of the spine. Biggest breath in today. Take a big sigh out. Let that breath go. Nice. Beginning to crawl the fingertips back up in space. We're going to come to a seated position. So I'm going to come into a slight toe squat here. So we're going to kneel back. The hips still stay sitting on the heels. You can untuck the toes if this is too uncomfortable for you. I like to open the space in the bottoms of the feet. Give them some attention. Bring one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly right here. Tune in. Closing down the eyes, and maybe we set our intention for this practice. My intention today, and you can share this with me, is to just let go of control. Let go of anything that's going on outside of this space. This is your time on your mat, in your body. Whatever intention you are working with today, just take a big breath in. Let's fill up that heart space. Inhale. And actively sigh that out. Let everything else go. Let's begin to open up our bodies. We're going to drop our left fingertips down towards the mat. We're going to sweep our right arms up overhead. You can gently walk those left fingertips a little bit further over to the left as we take a nice big side body stretch on the right side. Big breath in. Start to feel that space from fingertips down into the hips. Breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to take that all the way up and over. Drop the right fingertips down. Left fingertips sweep up in space. Walk those right fingertips out so that you find more space on that left side body. Take a big breath in. Reach that space up all the way from fingertips down into the hips here. Big breath in. Breath out. We switch sides. Really TikTok this over. Big breath in. Right side body stretches. Moving over to the left side with that breath. Left side body stretch. Nice. Breath in. Let's bring this through center. For our cat-cow today, we're going to be working with Garandasana arms. So we're going to sweep our right arm underneath the left. Find that eagle wrap position. Push the forearms forward. You'll start to feel that space behind the heart begin to open up. So we're going to firm up our belly here. The shoulders are over the hips. Take a big breath in. We're going to start to reach those fingertips up high. We're going to open up our chest space, open up the belly, the elbows begin to lift. Take a gaze with you. As you breathe out, we're going to fold in, bring those elbows in towards that midline. So really crunch the belly in, open up the back of the heart space here, open up those shoulder blades. Nice, a couple more this side. Inhale, moving with the breath. Start to lift those fingertips up over the head, moving into a slight back bend here. Push the belly forward, open up those ribs. Breath out as you pull that in, really crunch those elbows in towards the midline. Tuck the tailbone under and tuck the chin as if you would in a natural cat-cow. Last time, this side, inhale, sweep those fingertips up nice and high. Gaze is to the sky, open that belly, open the back of the heart, the shoulders. Last time, breath out. We really round in, so suck that belly button in towards the spine. Crunch those elbows in towards the midline. Hold. Breath out. Let's release. Maybe take a couple of shoulder rolls here. Let all of that side go. If you have the toe squat and you want to keep that, that's great. You should start to feel sensation. Definitely no pain, just sensation. Lift the arms up overhead as you inhale. Switch inside, so we bring our left arm underneath the right. Find those Garandasana arms here. Push the forearms forward in front of you. Bring the elbows in line with the shoulders. You've got this. You can stay up on the toes. Tune into the mind. Tune into that intention. Couple of rounds here. Breath in. Start to reach those fingertips up nice and high. Find that cat-cow position. As you breathe out, we're going to tuck our elbows in towards the midline. Really round through the spine here. Tuck tailbone under, tucking the chin. Couple more. Moving with the breath. Inhale. Take those fingertips up nice and high. Really open up your body. As you breathe out, we bring it in. Elbows come in towards the midline. Nice. Last time, breath in, reach it up nice and high. Follow the gaze. Breath out. Elbows come in towards the midline. Tuck tailbone, tuck the chin. Release that. Maybe a couple of shoulder rolls the other way. And then we're going to move into a tabletop position. So moving gently here. If you stayed up on the toes, that's quite intense. So I want you to just give them a little tap out. Let that blood flow come back into the feet. This should feel really nice. So from here, we're going to start to move into our first downward facing dog. So from here, from the shoulders under the wrist, you're going to walk the hands about a handprint in front of where they are right now. Pick up the knees, shift them a couple of inches back. Tuck the toes under, send those hips up and back, find downward facing dog. Start to walk out the dog here, from side to side, moving into your body. Rotate those biceps away from the ears, let the shoulders come down the back. The gaze is towards the belly button here, so really send the gaze up towards the belly button, between the thighs. Walking out the dog. Find some space for the head, neck, and shoulders. Maybe give the head a little shake out, yes and no. Shake off the day. Let's start the week off with that good intention. When you're ready, Bend those knees, look forward. We're going to make our way up towards the top of the mat. So walking the feet to meet the hands. Bring the feet to shoulder width distance apart. Bend the knees nice and deep so the belly's going to come onto the thighs. Grab a hold of opposite elbows here. We're going to sway from side to side. Let that body hang heavy over those thighs. Swaying out here side to side. Maybe get the head and neck involved. Maybe you shake it out. Yes and no. One more time. Maybe you take a couple of bounces here with those knees. Really start to open up the backs of the legs. Find those hamstrings. Maybe you want to clasp the hands behind the back. Take a shoulder rinse here. Really push that hard over the thighs. Maybe you start to straighten out the legs a little bit more here. Feel that space as it begins to open up. Take a big breath in. Biggest fold as you exhale. Let it go. One more big breath in. If you have the shoulder rinse, keep it. If you lost it, let it go. No holding on to anything here. Biggest breath out. Everyone, let's release our fingertips towards the mat. Raise the fingertips lightly. Step the toes to touch. Heels are just slightly apart here. Maybe a 2-inch gap between the heels. Take a big breath in. Bring hands to shins. Shoulder blades come down the spine. Crown of the head is reaching out nice and long. One long line from tailbone to crown of the head. Breath out for Uttanasana, forward fold. One more. Inhale, roll up that spine. Find halfway lift. Breath out, forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, root to rise. Let's stand up nice and tall. Fingertips to the sky. Breath out, hands come to heart center, Tadasana. So firm up the legs here. Start to engage those quads. Slight tuck of the tailbone so the belly's engaged. Shoulders are relaxed down that spine. Maybe close down the eyes and press the thumb tips into that heart center. Take a big breath in right here. Take a big sigh out. Let it go. Let's blink open those eyes and begin to move. Inhale, sweep up those arms. Big stretch, reach up high. Big breath out, hands come to your heart center, forward fold. Inhale, roll up that spine, find halfway lift. Hands can come to the shins here. Big breath out, let's fold. Touch the mat, pick up that left foot, stack it back. We find ourselves in a low lunge position. So stack that right knee over that right ankle. We want to square off the hips here. So really, if you need to, take the thumb in that right hip crease and send it back in space. Bring the belly away from the thigh. Crown of the head reaches nice and long. Firm up the belly so you're using the legs. Really scissor those legs together. From here, we're going to take a big breath in. We're going to start to dip into this left hip flexor. So we're light on our fingertips. We dip our hips down as the chest stays up nice and high. Big breath here. As you breathe out, we're going to send our hips back in space, find a pyramid pose. Moving with the breath, we're not here for long. Inhale, dip the hips forward. Big breath out, we send our hips back to pyramid pose. One more time this side. Inhale, let's dip into those hips. Keep the chest nice and lifted, belly away from that thigh. Big breath out, send the hips up and back for pyramid pose. Maybe this time you walk that back foot up and in. Walk the fingertips back in space. Square off those hips so you really begin to open the back of this right leg here. Take a big breath in. Fold deeper as you exhale. Really fold in, really bringing that nose down to the shin. One more breath, inhale. Biggest fold in as you exhale, really bringing that nose down towards that shin. Inhale, let's release this. Start to crawl the fingertips forward. Find yourself back in that low lunge position. Take a big inhale, look up towards the top of your mat, and on no breath, you come up. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Let's stand up nice and tall, high mountain. Hands to heart center as you exhale. Second side, let's not think about it. Inhale, sweep up those arms up nice and high. Big breath out, we fold, hinge at those hips. Inhale, roll up that spine, find a halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, fold, touch the mat. We pick up that right foot now, send it back in space. We're in that low lunge position, left side now. So each side might be a little bit different, just feel into your body. See where you're at. Light on these fingertips. We square off our hips, maybe using that thumb in the hip crease to send it back. Maybe this side's a little bit tighter, it definitely is for me. Stick with it. Scissor those thighs together. Bring the belly away from this side, find that space. Take a breath here. Exhale. Let's start to find those hip flexor stretches. So inhale, dip into the hips, send the heart forward, bend into that left knee. As you exhale, we're going to shift our hips up and back, find pyramid pose. Breath in, we dip into the hips. Remember, we're moving with our breath today. Breath out, we send our hips up and back, find pyramid pose. Last time before we find stillness, inhale, dip into those hips nice and deep. As you exhale, hips go up and back, pyramid pose. Maybe finding a little bit more space as you walk the fingertips back. Maybe you walk this back foot up and in so that you can square off these hips a little bit more. So in pyramid pose, we want to walk our fingertips back in space. Maybe you turn them the other way around. Take a big breath in here. Fold in deep as you exhale so that nose is really coming towards the shin. But we want to find length all the way from the tailbone. Couple more. Inhale. Biggest fold and really breathe into those inner thighs. That left hamstring begins to open. Nice. Biggest breath in here. Last breath out as you exhale. Let it go. Let's bend back into that left knee. Look up towards the top of the mat. Take a big inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, find halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, fold. We'll plant the hands. Step it back. Find your variation of a high plank. So I'm working with a hand injury, so I'm going to be on forearms. Feel free to come down to forearms with me. I'll stay on the hands. First high plank of the series. Tuck the belly in. Send energy out of those heels. Really use the energy in the arms. We don't want our butt sticking up here. We want it down nice and low in line with those shoulders. Take a big breath here. Stay for an exhale. Fire up that core. You've got this. One more. Big breath in. Drop the knees, untuck the toes, come all the way down onto the mat. Take the fingertips out nice and wide, rest the forehead down. So shimmy the feet at the back of the mat, toes to touch. Press down through the tops of the feet, come up onto the fingertips here. Take a big breath in, we're going to roll up this spine, find a rolling cobra. So we push the tops of the feet down here. Lift up that chest. Open up that belly. Big breath out. Roll it back down. Two more. Just like that. Push down the tops of the feet. Inhale. Rolling baby cobra. Exhale. Roll it back down. Inhale. Last time. See if you can find any more lift. Push the tops of the feet down. Lift up that chest. Biggest breath in today. Breath out, let it go, roll it back down. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Push it back, find a child's pose. Take the knees out nice and wide. Toes to touch back with the mat. Checking in here with the breath. Checking in with the body. How different does this feel to the first child's pose we took in class? Big breath in right here. Biggest breath out. Let it go. We're going to start to make our way back up to our downward facing dog. So stack the hands. I'm going to be on forearms because of my injury. So I'm going to come into a dolphin pose here, but you can come into a regular downward facing dog. Send the hips up and back. Again, rotating those biceps away from the ears. Take a breath in, lift up that right leg, take it nice and high, find three-legged dog. As you exhale, bend that knee, open up the hip. Start to take those hip circles, knee circles on that right side, open up this side. Moving with your breath, keep pushing down through the hands or the forearms. Keep the shoulders nice and square. Reverse those circles if you have them. Stretch that foot up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take a breath right here. Let that go, breath out, push the belly towards the thighs. Inhale, left side, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, open up that hip. So stacking the left hip on top of the right. Start to find that motion or stillness. What does your body need right now, here in this moment? Taking those knee circles to open up that hip. And then reverse if you have them. Nice. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to look forward, bend into the knees. Exhale, step, walk up, top of the mat, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Maybe the fingertips stay on the mat this time. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, high mountain, stand up nice and tall. Hands come to heart center as you exhale. Find stillness, regroup. Take a big inhale. Let all of that go, breath out. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, we're moving into Uttanasana chair pose. Send the hips back in space. Bring those knees over the ankles. Send the weight into the heels. Start to feel that belly engage it. Start to squeeze those inner thighs. Take a big breath in. Find chair playing with the arms as you breathe out. One more. Inhale for Uttanasana chair pose. Exhale for chair plane. Send it back. Cover that chest. Inhale just one more time. Uttanasana. Exhale for Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, fold. Touch the mat. Pick up that left foot. Send it back. We're in that low lunge position. We've been here before. This time should feel a little easier. Square off those hips. Take an inhale, we rise. Find high crescent lunge. So maybe you want to bend into that back knee. Maybe you want to square off the hips. Use the hands on the hips. Find that space first. Zip up this belly. Relax the shoulders. Take a breath in. Big breath out as you dip deep into that right knee. Maybe here is where you start to straighten out that back knee. Fingertips are bright, the shoulders are relaxed. Lose that tension, let it go. Lose the control, inhale. Exhale as you cactus the arms, find baby back bend here. Really send that heart up in space. Inhale, lift those fingertips up high. Exhale as you cactus the arms, baby back bend, really send that heart back in space. Inhale, lift up those arms. Exhale, we open out, find warrior two. So we pivot to the blade edge of the back foot at the back of the mat. We bend deep into our right knee. It's in the center of the mat, almost touching, facing the top right corner of the mat. Arms are extended out nice and long. Take a big breath right here. Sink one more inch, relax those shoulders, breath out. One more, inhale. As you exhale this time, we're going to bring our right elbow, right knee. We're going to sweep our left arm down and around. Find that extended side angle. So really bring this right oblique away from that thigh. Stretch the left fingertips up overhead. You can also point the fingertips towards the top of the mat. Send the heart up in space. Almost as if you're sending the heart towards the top right corner of the room as well. Send it back, inhale. Big exhale. Inhale when you're ready. Take it all the way up and back. Find revolve triangle. Straighten out that front leg. As you exhale, we'll tick-tock the arms through center. Micro bend this right knee. Square off those hips. Take a big inhale. We shift our hips back as the heart moves forward, forward, forward. And then release. Tick-tock the arms to 12 and 6 o'clock. We're light on these fingertips, or we come up to the shin. Being in your body, this is your practice. Stretch those fingertips up nice and high. Feel that right inner thigh. Take a breath right here. Stay for that breath out. See if you can hold this. Nice. Find that concentration. Use the belly. One more breath right here. Big breath out as you unwind. We move it back through our warrior two. As you inhale, sweep the arms up through a high crescent lunge. A sticky transition here. We're going to walk our back foot up and in. We land in warrior one. So again, find that space. Square off those hips. Walk those right toes out just slightly. Extend those fingertips up in space. Big breath right here. As you exhale, we're going to clasp our hands behind the base of the spine. Inhale, lift up that chest. Lots of heart openness today, letting everything else go. Big inhale. And as you exhale, melt the chest forward. Find humble warrior. So we lower the chest down. The right shoulder comes on the inside of that right knee. We let our head, neck, and shoulders go as the hands start to creep up over the head. Big breath in. Check in with the hips. Make sure that they're not splaying out to one side. We want them nice and square. This should be intense on the glutes, but very relaxing. We're bringing our heart underneath our head. Take a big breath. Sink in a little bit deeper as you breathe out. One more big breath right here. Let the clasp go as you breathe out. Bring the hands on the inside of that right leg. We're going to start to transition here into our lizard pose. So we're going to come up onto the ball of the back foot. Bring both hands on the inside of the right knee. Start to walk those right toes out towards the top right corner of the mat. You can be on fists if you are working with any injuries like me. You can also come straight down to forearms. That's where I'm going to head. But before we get there, you can turn these right toes out. You can use this right hand on the inside of the knee to open up more space. Moving with the breath and moving with what your body needs. You can also drop this back knee. You can untuck the toes. If you are there, you can come all the way down onto forearms. Take your variation of this very, very intense pose. Breathing into that right hip. Take a big breath. Keep the chest moving forward as you breathe out. So again, we want sensation, not pain. We really want to try and keep the chest nice and lifted and the crown of the head reaching forward, not down. Stay with the breath here. It's going to help you in this pose. Take a breath. Stay for that exhale. One more. You can stay here for just one more breath. Inhale. Big exhale. See if you can send that right hip, the right glutes a little bit more love and attention and let it go. Come back up onto the hands. Walk that right foot back into the center, so between the hands. Tuck those back toes under. Kick up that back knee. We find ourselves back in our low lunge. Take a big breath in. Exhale as we meet at the top of the mat for Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, roll up that spine. Find a halfway lift. Exhale, let that go. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, stand up nice and tall. Hands to heart center as you exhale. Second round, inhale, sweep up our arms. As you exhale, find Uttanasana, chair pose. So we've been here before, this should feel quite familiar now. We've woken up the legs, we've woken up our core. Take a big inhale, reach those fingertips up high, relax those shoulders. As you exhale, find chair plane. Inhale for Uttanasana, chair pose. See if you can go 1 inch deeper. See, lift and wiggle those toes. Exhale for chair plane. Send the arms back in space. Inhale, last time, Uttanasana, chair pose. As you exhale, fold over those thighs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, find halfway lift, flat back, maybe fingertips stay on the mat. As you exhale, we pick up that right foot now, send it back, find that low lunge position. Square off the hips. Take a breath. Stay and exhale, firm up that belly, send the shoulder blades down the back. When you're ready, we rise, inhale, find that high crescent lunge. Take that moment here to find squareness. Take that moment to tuck that tailbone, bring the belly up and in. Lift up those hands, relax those shoulders. Maybe you still keep this bend in that back knee, totally fine. Maybe here you start to straighten that out. Take a big breath, lift up the fingertips. And as you exhale, cactus those arms, find that baby back bend. Lots of heart openers here. Inhale, lift up those fingertips nice and bright. Exhale, cactus the arms, send the heart up in space as the gaze goes back. Inhale, lift up those fingertips. As you exhale, we open out. Let's find that warrior two. Hit it to the blade edge of that back foot. I'll spin around so you can see what I'm doing. Pivot to the blade edge of the back foot here. Bend deep into this left knee. Square those hips, engage the belly. Arms are out in line with the shoulders, but the shoulders are relaxed. Take a big breath. Sink another inch, breath out. One more breath in. Elbow to knee as you breathe out. Find extended side angle. Sweep that right arm down and around. Lift it up towards the sky. Keep sending that left knee out in space. Maybe the right fingertips reach up overhead. See if you can find more length all the way from that foot to the fingertip. Keep lifting this left oblique away from that thigh. Keep breathing. Send the heart up and back in space. Breath in. Stay for that breath out. Staying a little bit longer than maybe we want to in these poses. That's how we release the control. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in as we move all the way up and back. Find revolve trikonasana here. Take the left fingertips up overhead. Straighten out that left knee. And as you breathe out, we tick-tock our hands, come through center. Be sure to have a micro bend in this front knee. Fingertips out in line with the shoulders. Breath in, we start to shift our hips back, back, back as the heart moves forward, forward, forward in space. Then we tick-tock our hands to 12 and 6 o'clock. Reach the right fingertips up high. Maybe this side you need to bring that hand onto the hip. Maybe this side you come up to that shin. Modify as and where you need to. If you need a block underneath this hand, that's totally fine. Taking whichever variation you need right here, right now. A few more breaths. Inhale. Enjoy those inner thighs as you exhale. Really send the heart up and back here again. Stacking that right hip on top of the left. Big breath in. Big breath out. We've got one more. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to bring this up. Find that warrior two. As we transition this time, we're going to swing this up through a high crescent lunge. A little bit of an awkward transition. We move this into our warrior one. So step that back foot up and in. Find some squareness in the hips. Maybe you need to walk that left knee out a tiny bit. Find your stance. This is a little bit of an awkward pose. Square it off. Lift those arms up in space. Bring that belly in. Bend deep into that left leg. Breath in. Reach the fingertips up high. As you breathe out, let's find that clasp behind the spine. Opposite thumb on top this time. Take a big breath in. Let's reach up that heart space. Last back bend right here. And as you exhale, find humble warrior. Start to sink the heart down. Start to bring that left shoulder on the inside of that left knee. And just breathe. So using the feet here, scissor them together. Bring that left hip around if it's swung out to one side. Find the squareness in the hips. If it's too much with the grip of the hands, just lose it. Just lose it. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, sinking in even deeper. One more. Inhale. Big breath out as you start to release the grip of the hands. Start to frame out that front foot. Shimmy that back foot to the center of the mat. Walk both hands on the inside of this left foot. Finding our lizard lunge this side. We're going to walk our toes out towards the top left corner of our mat. So find these on about a 45-degree angle. Maybe again, hey, you need to wiggle. My left side is so much tighter than my right. So feel free to do a little hip circle, whatever you need here before you come down into the full expression of this pose. Work into your body. Feel what it needs. If you want to, you can take that left hand on the inside of the left knee, push it out, and find a little bit more space right there. Just options if you want to come down onto this back knee, untuck those toes, come with me, we're moving onto our forearms. Coming back down, slowing down our practice. Using our breath as a tool here, the mind can sometimes run away in these poses, telling you want to get out. That's not always the case. We can often stay longer in something than we think we can. See if you can just send the breath into that left hip. Come back to that intention of letting go of control. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Big release. Exhale. One more breath in. Biggest breath out. See if you can just really relax that left hip. Let something go here. Nice. Come back up onto the hands. Gently walking that left foot back in between the hands. Come back onto the toes. Tuck the back toes under. Find yourself back in that low runner's lunge. Take a big breath in here. And as you exhale, we're going to step our right foot to the outside of the right hand. We're going to find Malasana Yogi squat right here. So we're going to sink our hips down towards the heels, not necessarily on the heels, but towards the heels. You can have a block or a cushion underneath the hips if that's going to help you sit for a second. Bring the hands to heart center and use the elbows on the insides of the knees. This is going to really help find that space in the hips. I always close my eyes down in this particular pose. It's very intense. And if you can just focus on the breath, that's all we ask. Be here right now. Breath in. Big breath out. Two more, just like that. Breath in. Big breath out. Last one. Biggest breath in you've taken today. Enjoy it. Fill it up. Big breath in. Big sigh out. Release the tailbone towards the mat. Send the feet out nice and long. Pick up the hips. Shimmy onto the sit bones. Take the feet out nice and long and the arms out to meet them. Flex the toes up towards the sky. We're coming down onto our backs and finishing our bridge pose. So we're just going to use our core to take us down onto the mat. So use that belly, fire it up. We're going to slowly as possible, send our head, neck, and shoulders all the way down onto the mat. So just getting that last bit of juicy core work in. Taking it as slow as you possibly can. Enjoy the shakes. And then come all the way down onto the mat. Walking the feet up towards the sit bones here. Bring the shoulder blades together underneath the back. Graze the fingertips on the heels. Without really thinking about this, you can, if you don't want to come into full bridge, you can definitely just slide a block underneath the hips if you want a slight elevation, or if that's not for you today, you can just take the feet up towards the sky, come into waterfall, and just let all of that blood flow come back into the legs. If you are moving into a full bridge with me, take the feet to hips with distance, the knees are pointing up towards the sky. We take a big breath in. And on our exhale, we lift the hips away from the mat. We start to shimmy our shoulders together, clasp the hands underneath the spine, send the hips, the belly up in space, the heart space up in space. Without moving the head or neck, we keep our chin nice and tucked right there. We scissor our knees together, we scissor those inner thighs, keep using the inner thighs to lift the hips. Push down through the feet, breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Use the backs of the arms. Use the feet. Find more lift. Breath in. Breath out as you start to release. Release that grip. Let the hips meet the mat. Take the feet as wide as the mat and just windshield wiper the knees here. We've got one more round, completely up to you. If you want to come into bridge, you can also come into full wheel if that's in your practice and you feel opening up. You've done a lot of heart openers and back bends today, so it could be a nice progression right there. I'm going to take another round of bridge pose. So if you come in with me, walk those feet up towards the hips. Knees towards the sky, hips width distance apart. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, lift the hips, push down through the feet, lift up those hips, lift that heart space, move the shoulder blades out of the way, clasp the hands, send the hips up in space, really bring those knees together, scissor those inner thighs, big breath in, stay for the breath out, we've got 2 more, inhale, big exhale, last time, see if you can find 1 more inch of lift, breath in, breath out as we let all of that go, release the spine 1 vertebrae at a time, take the feet out as wide or wider than the mat and just let the knees knock together in the center. Maybe resting the hands on the belly, closing down the eyes. Maybe feel the heartbeat underneath the hands here. All of that work, all of that pushing, all of that breathing. This is where we feel the benefits. From here, we'll gently guide the knees into the chest, and we're going to finish with a gentle supine twist. So we've done a lot of work on the legs and the heart space. We'll finish this very gently today. So bring the knees into the chest. Maybe give them a nice squeeze and rock out that sacrum from side to side. When you're ready, drop the toes down. Pick up the hips. Shift the hips towards the left. Drop the knees over towards the right. And send the arms out into a T shape or into a cactus, whatever you have the space for. Maybe take the gaze out over the left shoulder here. And just breathe. Close down the eyes. Keeping the shoulder blades rooted down onto the mat. Last breath in right here. Let it go. Breath out. Coming up through center. Drop the toes down. Just pick up the hips. Shift the hips towards the right this time. Drop the knees over towards the left. Supine twist. Take the gaze out over the right shoulder. Shoulder blades are rooting down onto the mat. Close down the eyes and just enjoy the release of the spine. Big breath in. Big breath out. Breath in. Big sigh out. Last one, biggest breath in. Big sigh out, let it go. We'll gently move up through center. If there's any other movements that are calling out to you today before we move into our final rest, please feel free to take them right now. If you'd like to find your variation of Savasana, we're going to extend our arms and our legs out nice and long. We're going to take up as much space as we can. Let the toes just flop out to either side. Let the ankles become nice and loose. Face the palms up to the sky, ready to receive, or down if you need more grounding. Maybe pick up the shoulders and knit the shoulder blades together on the back and just let that heart space open a little bit more. Closing down the eyes. Relax the muscles in the face and the space between the eyebrows. Relax the jaw. Savasana. your Savasana for at least 3 minutes. If you do want to come out with me, start to find some gentle movements with the fingers and the toes, maybe some wrist circles and ankle circles. Maybe stretch the arms up overhead and bring the toes to touch. Make the biggest space you can with the body, really full body stretch from fingertips to toes. And then we'll roll onto your favorite side today, just using the arm as a pillow. And when you are ready, we'll meet in a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed down. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Bring the shoulders up and around the ears. Little shoulder roll here, let the shoulders melt down the back. Pressing those thumb tips into the heart space. Now bringing our thumb tips to third eye center in gratitude. We bow our heads to ourselves, our bodies, our breath, and everyone around us for moving together today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and practicing with me. My name is Laura from Ball and Feather Yoga. I would love to see you again. Any comments, feedback, let us know. And if not, namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day.